Miami made a stronger impression on five-star edge rusher Colin Simmons from Duncanville, Texas, than I initially thought, okay? Because some of the extra intel we've been gathering and some of the interviews he's been doing paint a pretty good picture for Miami. Gabby Arudi at 24/7 worded it as Miami really made a move for Colin Simmons. And yeah, everyone I've spoken to has indicated that Miami, for what it's worth, really hit this visit out of the park, as you would expect them to. Like, they didn't have anybody doing Jumpman poses on top of plexiglass and landing. Did you see that video going around in Florida where it's like, are they trying to injure Caleb Odom, who I love? I'd love him at Miami. They got this guy doing jump poses and landing in cleats on glass and slipping. And that ain't cool. That's not OSHA approved. Miami visits would never do any crazy stuff like that. So Colin Simmons last night, after the conclusion of his Miami visit, tweeted out, 2024 recruits, be ready to flip when I announce my commitment. I want none but the best around me. Now, he's not necessarily referring to Miami, but since he did just come off a really productive Miami visit, and then he decides to tweet that, you got to feel a little bit encouraged by it. But again, if you try to read the tea leaves and, you take it, because recruits tweet out a lot of stuff and a lot of cryptic stuff. If you get too wrapped up in trying to figure out what all of this stuff means, you'll drive yourself crazy. You'll be in the nut house. You'll drive yourself insane. But here is from an interview what Colin Simmons told Kane Sport on 3 after his Miami visit. He says, the plan they have for me, we call it the 3-year plan. It's them having that plan set up for me already before I even get in there on campus. It speaks a lot, Colin Simmons said. So right there, it tells you Miami was so prepared to give Colin Simmons his sales pitch. Simmons says he sees, quote, the best of the best being pursued on the D-line for Miami in this class, and several of those linemen were on campus with Simmons this weekend. And you know what, guys? That makes more sense with that tweet that he wrote because, obviously I can't guarantee you in June that Miami is going to have the best defensive line class in the country. They might not, but Miami has more irons in the fire with the top defensive linemen in the country than any other school in America right now. So if Colin Simmons is sending out the message, hey, I want to commit somewhere and I want everyone to commit to this place with me because I want to be surrounded by the best. Nobody has had more of those best defensive linemen on campus in this cycle than Miami. So the clues seem to be pointing in that direction, okay? But let's continue the quote. This is from Kane Sport. Other top defensive linemen on campus this weekend were 5-star David Stone, 5-star Dylan Stewart, 4-star Aiden Breland, who's a borderline 5-star, 4-star LJ McCray, and 3-star TJ Lindsay. Quote, they want us all to play together, he says, and be one of the best defensive lines to come out of Miami, Simmons said. Simmons had previously told On3's Josh Newberg and DJ Pickell, or JD Pickell, that he felt Texas and LSU were in the lead, but it sounds like Miami is closing the gap. He said, this visit helped weigh a lot. Definitely put Miami up there. He said, shoot, I didn't have any questions leaving Miami. They answered every question in my book, in my brain. They just had everything set up, and it was, quote, why not? That's what Simmons said about Miami. Why not? So I think that's very encouraging and very interesting coming out of the visit of one of the very top players in the entire country, regardless of position. But he happens to be one of the top 2 or 3 edge rushers in the country. And guys, we all know who's putting in a lot of that recruiting legwork with the edge rushers. The man with the gold jacket, Jason Taylor.